My name is T.A. Ramanujam, and you must be wondering why I have this small bubble which says, are you sure, with a question mark. You know, this has been a problem for me because I came to the country in 2000, and since the time I moved here, I wasn't sure what I should call myself because, you know, Ramanujam is not a very easy name that you can go by in America. So I was debating about this, but then I also had another problem because my full name is Thirumalai Anandambullai Ramanujam. I'm sure even most of the Indians might find it very hard to say this. But there's an interesting story behind this because this is what is there in my passport, my green card, and in my driver's license. So I was driving in Austin, Texas, few years back. So there's a cop who stopped me because I was overspeeding. So he stopped me and took the driver's license and went back to his car and then returned after a few minutes, gave the driver's license back and said, you know, I'm letting you go. I said, why? Because it's very hard for me to get your name on the citation. So he said, I'm going to let you go with a warning. So sometimes having long names, unpronounceable names, does help, okay? So the reason I want to talk about it because, you know, over the years, what has happened is I've had this multiple names that you can see here. Some people call me Ramanujam, some call me Tar, and some call me T-A-R. It's a mess. But I'm perfectly fine with that. So you guys can call me any name you want, okay? Most probably I'll be turning and talking to you. So pick any name you're comfortable with that you can say it, and I'm fine with that. On top of this, I also have another name. That name is Madhu. The reason they call me Madhu is a different story, but I'll get to it in a second. My father wanted to name me Ramanujam, not in memory of this guy. This guy is a great mathematician coming from India, and I suck in math. So luckily he didn't name me, he named me Ramanujam, but not in memory of this guy, but in memory of his father, who is my grandfather. So since he named me Ramanujam, and since my grandfather was alive, there was no way that, you know, people are going to call me. It's disrespectful for you to call a name that's also my grandfather's name. So obviously they had to choose a different name, so they chose Madhu. One of my cousins named me Madhu. I was born in this very large family. I was the only child, but I was raised in a joint family. I had about 30 cousins, several nephews, several nieces. So the standard joke in our family is that if we decide to do a small, very close-knit, very close relative get-togethers, we will have over 150 people. So we are a very, very large family. I had over 30 cousins, which I mentioned earlier. So my cousins pretty much influenced some of the things that I did. So they influenced me to read books, which is what I did. So the male cousins influenced me to read Arthur Riley, Harold Robbins, James Hadley Chase, and the female cousins influenced me to read Jackie Collins, Jacqueline Susan, Erica John. So I ended up getting this, this mixed, books from all these people, and I was reading all this because there's nothing else for me to do. I was mostly into reading, into enjoying stories, then actually attending school. But then it also helps because two of my cousins were in advertising, and they were really passionate about films, and they took me to a lot of French films. God, I never understood them. But even now, I don't understand them. I watched several movies on Netflix. I still don't get it. But anyway, I watched a lot of French films. But there was one particular movie that really attracted me. This movie was Vertigo. So when I saw it, I really fell in love with the city where the movie was shot. I had no idea where it was shot, but I was simply fascinated by the city where it was shot. It had nice, it had nice coastline. It had a lot of bridges. It had roads which were going up and down. I was fascinated by it. So we are going to pause and move to the next block of my presentation. So typically, when you're seeing movies, you will see this black kind of a structure, which means we are trying to switch from one context to another. So we are going to switch from this context and go to my, where I grew and where I studied was in Chennai. So I was raised in Chennai. I went to school. I went to college in Chennai. And then I took up my first job as a software programmer. So it was an interesting job. I was in this job for 2 months, and my manager walked to me and said, there is a demo opportunity, and I want you to go and present our products. So I went and met this customer. It was an excellent opportunity, so I demoed our product, and the customer didn't like it, meaning he didn't show any kind of enthusiasm for our product. So then I started talking about our roadmap, okay, the features that we are planning to deliver sometime in the future. And even after that, I didn't see any excitement coming out of this guy. So then I started talking about some creative stuff. Okay, it was just a figment of my imagination. I started narrating that, and the customer finally was interested, and he said, "Yeah, I like this product. I'm ready to sign up the deal. So what are you guys are going to charge? When are you going to deliver this?" I said, "Okay, it's great." I went back to my manager. Obviously, he was not happy, because this is not a product that we have, and we have no intention of making it anytime soon. So he was like, "Okay, we have to take you to our seniors, and probably we might have to fire you." I said, "Okay, great. My first job as a software programmer, 2 months into it, somebody is going to fire me. Great." So I went and met our divisional vice president. So he listened to all of this and said, "Do you know vaporware?" I said, "No, I haven't heard this terminology before." He said, "Yeah, there is something called as a vaporware, and there is a department which does only that." I said, "What is the department?" He said, "That's called marketing." Okay? So we will move you from this job to a marketing job. Right there you go, create all this fancy roadmaps, and hope somebody works on it and develops it and delivers it to the customer. So I moved to marketing. That gave me a lot of opportunity for me to be involved in sales, business development. I traveled throughout India. Then I got married. So I got married to Deepa. So Deepa, when I got married, she was a dietitian, and she was working for a hospital locally. Out of her passion, she had an opportunity to interview professionals for a TV channel. So she started doing that, and she was passionate about it, and she started acting. So she started acting in a couple of TV soaps, and within a few years, she was doing a lot of TV soaps, and she was doing shows that were lasting for a year or two. So she became pretty popular in the TV as a TV actress. And our daughter who goes to UC Davis, so she was born in '91, and we spent a lot of time in India, and then we moved to Vietnam. I spent a couple of years in Vietnam, and then I moved to Bangkok from Vietnam. And in 2000, when the NASDAQ nosedived, and the .com was officially burst, March 10th, that was the day I landed in this country. So if you guys have lost money, you can blame me. So I moved here in 2000, and I worked for Adaptec, Network Appliance, Mellanox Technologies, and I'm right now working for Caviar Networks, and I'm in marketing here. So my area of expertise has been storage, networking, and mostly around chips and adapters.